How about now?
Yeah.
Oh man, you missed the really funny joke. I'll do it again. Welcome to OnSet. I'm Daniel Norton. This is Cadence. So due to some strange satellite interference, the last time we tried to do this demo, it got cut. So I got lots of letters. People actually mail me letters. Seth, can you believe that?
I don't believe that because I know it's not true.
He doesn't believe it. It's probably not true at all. Handwritten, cursive writing at that.
Cursive. That's how we know it's not
Cursive writing.
Your mom doesn't count.
Right, from my mother. Saying, hey, where's that black and white demo? So we're going to do it again, even better, right? So here we are. We're going to talk about black and white and how we can make our black and white images nicer, better, cooler, blacker and whiter. Today I'm using the Nikon Z9, loaned to me by the one and only Seth Miranda. Woo! Adorama is doing a special right now. Z9, free shipping, good. Also, free capture one, which is super good because you'll be able to do everything we're doing right now with your own Z9, just like Seth and me. Seth and I? Seth and me, I think. That's how we're going to do it. So let's talk black and white. What we want to do is when you're shooting in black and white or you're thinking about shooting in black and white, one of the most important things, and I think a lot of times we don't think about this, is black and white should not be an afterthought. You need to, when especially in a studio lighting situation, you want to light for the black and white because black and white is basically a different animal, right? It's going to be all about contrast and transition. So you can't use that like pop of red or pop, of course she's wearing gray. But you know, to really set things up, you've got to think about how the shadow and light, right, you get the lipstick, right, is going to work. So we're going to kind of set this up, obviously shooting digitally, which you can see it in color, and then we're going to capture one, we're going to adjust to black and white, and then from there we'll tweak our lighting to get the best possible shot. Okay, so let's just start simple. I'm going to go with, let's see, this is a frame from Shamira. It's basically a 4-foot frame. This is going to give us, you know, it's the large light source, so it could give us a nice soft flat light. We'll probably use this as a fill, but we'll start off as our key light because it was the closest thing to me, and that's usually how I operate. I'm going to move it in real close. And one great, you will see that one, right? One great thing about using a frame is that depending on where we place our light, we're going to be able to control kind of effectively how big the source really is. If I punch the light through the center of the frame and it's real small, it'll actually be small versus the full size of the frame. So we're going to use the B10X here, Profoto B10X. Thank you. And, oh, all right. And we're going to raise it up. Now we can see, I mean, you can actually see the light pouring around the frame. So that's for all the people that think the flat front lights aren't spread out really well, right? You can see that it's pouring all around the frame. So we want to bring it in closer so we can maximize our contrast by having it closer to the frame. So once we've done this, and we've got it kind of off to the side because we want to think about shadow, we're going to, oh, that's really interesting. Just the color of the light is so, I forgot this, these modeling lights are the tungsten color, whereas the other lights I usually use are kin switch. Okay, so we're just gonna do a test shot. I'm using TTL, I think. This is the first time I've used this new remote. This is a new Profoto remote. TTL. I'm not in TTL. Now I'm in TTL. I'm in TTL. TTL means through the lens metering, so we're gonna use the meter in the camera to get a base exposure. So we'll just kind of set it up, we'll take a shot, boom. No, I don't think so. Unless you think we need them. And nothing happened. No, I'm not tethered. Don't worry, guys. It's all part of the process. Oops. My tethering cable really likes the... Lost it. Okay. I'm jiggling it. I have many ports on my MacBook. Anything? No? We had it.
Yep,
nope.
Nope. Nope. Yep, nope.
Really?
Yeah, it's like going on and off.
That's weird. Okay, I'm just going to do this real quick. You're going to lose the screen.
Let me see if I got it.
All right, guys. Could be that my cable has gotten a little old, a little long in the tooth. I'm going to switch to the side very quickly. I'm going to try this new one from Seth in a second if this doesn't work. which it did not. Okay. All right, we're switching this out. New cable. Oh.
If not, we might restart
It could be a computer restart issue. We did have, we could just open up Capture One again. Sometimes that happens. There you go.
Oh,
Yeah. Sometimes that happens when you're using a new camera, new computer, new cable, and you're doing a live stream in front of the entire audience.
Usually not.
That's usually when it happens. All right, so, sorry, we got an in-between shot. Okay, so big, flat, even light. All right, so let's take a
Please
look.
take another one.
All right. Okay, so we can see that we've got a basic shot, real flat and even. And, you know, as a color shot, this might be okay, right? But this would be terrible in black and white, right? Terrible.
Terrible.
Because it's too flat. We don't have any contrast here at all. So while this might be a nice, pretty shot, if you're trying to do something real quick, I'm just going to transfer it over here. Let's see, I'm in Capture One right now. I'm going to go over to my little 3-circle area here, which is where the black and white conversion is. You can very simply just click on black and white, and you can see it's just flat, right? And I see a lot of this. You see people take a color picture that's really pretty. It looks nice. It's nice and soft. It's whatever. They make it black and white. It doesn't have any flavor, no punch. We want to have flavor, and then you're like, oh well, it doesn't have any flavor and punch. So I'm going to go in and start adjusting all my what you would need to adjust these, which we'll deal with in a second. But you're never going to get it really where you want it that way. What we want to do is start off with light that's a little bit more contrasted to start with. If you think about, old movies, let's say, black and white movies, they're typically shot with punchier, harder light for exactly that reason. We want to emphasize the shadow. So let's go with something a little bit punchier. Yeah, move this. All right. So here, we're going to bring this back probably as a fill. So let's move it over here for now. My sail. So I'm going to use a softbox. And you might be saying, hey, a softbox, hold on. You thought you said we weren't going to use a soft light. Remember, the hardness and softness of light is based on the size of it relative to your subject. We can see this is much smaller, so it's going to be much punchier, much harder than the other light. Bring it up here. I'm doing kind of a similar angle. Okay, good place to start.
That light's still active.
Yep. Okay, so this light over here is in my C group. I'm going to turn it off. Seth taught me how to use this earlier, so I'm good. And we're going to just, this is a nice remote. This is a new remote.
It's still fire.
Huh. Okay. It says it's off. Okay, now it's off. Okay, cool. Try that again. There we go. That felt better. There it is. Okay, we can see now this is much punchier, right? This is actually probably almost a little bit too harsh for where we want to start. Let's actually get our exposure right first. It looks a little hot.
Is it true it's better to take a picture in color raw than convert to black and white?
Well, is it true that it's better to shoot the picture in color raw than convert to black and white? And I'm assuming you mean versus, let's say, using the JPEG in your camera. Well, you can do it a couple of different ways. If you're shooting tethered the way I am, I would just shoot straight up raw, which is what we're doing. If you're shooting on the fly, like not tethered, I would shoot JPEG plus raw, put a black and white conversion on the image, in your camera, because most have something in there. And that way you at least see them in black and white, because you really want to see them in black and white. That's going to be super important. So I'm going to come in a little bit closer. Okay. I think we had way too much of the top of your head in there. Nobody likes that. All right. All right, I'm going to take another shot. We're in matrix metering. I came in closer. We should get there we go, cleaner exposure because we're in closer now. We're not worrying about the background as much. What's that? I did not update the firmware in the lights. That is correct. But, okay, so let's get a good shot here. Good. All right, so we've got our shot here. Again, we're using TTL as our baseline. This looks good to me. It's bright, but we have detail in the skin, which is what we want. And now we're going to use this as our baseline to kind of get our black and white conversion going. Then we'll come in and add any extra lights, because all we really need is the key light for this. So we're going to switch over. I'm in Capture One here. I'm going to switch to black and white. You can already see like how much better that is, right?
If you flag a big modifier, making it smaller and less spill, do you get the softness of the light or the light hits the subject?
Okay, so if you flag a large light to make it small, is it still soft? I guess is basically the question. I mean, no. not really. You'll get the effect of the, if you completely flag it, then you will not get, it'll be this, the size that it is. Okay, so if we go back here, a lot of times people will flag a light like that so that light spills past it, and then you can kind of like fill itself. So it is kind of a cool technique. But if you just took a big, like I say, a 4-foot square softbox, and you put cardboard in front of it, or let's say duvetine completely blocked it out, so it was a small circle in the middle, you would just waste a lot of light. It would still be hard, but not bad if you actually want. But you can see right from the beginning, this is already better over here without doing anything else to it. So let's click on here. And now what we want to do is we want to look at our sliders down here. So basically you've got your different colors. Now depending on skin tone of the person, sorry? You can't see it? Okay, I can move it, yeah, if that's okay. Okay, can you still see her though if I do that? Yeah. Okay, all right, so you can see over here, we've got different colors. Now, usually on somebody with skin tone like Cadence, the reds are gonna be the most obvious of a change. So we're gonna basically drag this over and you can see that her skin itself is getting punchier, right? And even the lips and stuff are getting brighter. And we're pushing that contrast up. You see, I'm just going back and forth so you can see where it is. Yellow will also have some effect. These green and such will not affect her too much, but it might affect like her clothes and things like that. But it won't affect her skin very much. We can see what it's doing. The background seems to be adjusting with this one. And we got blues. Blues are affecting the background, as we can see there. So we'll do that. And we're just finding a spot that we really like it. So that looks pretty good as a starting point. So you want to do that before you do anything else. Then we can do further adjustments. But let's just go in here now and we can see, look at how clean that skin is right off the bat with just one light. Nothing super special as far as adding anything to it. It just looks real clean and punchy. But I still think this is too flat from my personal taste for black and white. So what I would do at this point is I'm going to jump over here and just mess with my levels. We can see this big gap over, oh, you can't see it.
I'm gonna move you.
Okay, yeah, move me. Okay. You can see this big gap over here, right? Because this is our punch up here. So that means what we need to do is slide this over, not all the way, because if you go all the way, it'll completely blow out. But we're going to start to slide this over. And actually, if you can see, there's a little tiny red hump right there. That's basically going to be as far as we want to go. That's the most we want to go, probably right to it, actually. And you can see that we're starting to get, again, it's still bright, but we're not losing detail. It's just bringing up that middle. And then at that point, we can come in here and mess with our mids if we want to adjust the entire image and a little bit on our darks, right? What we want is our blacks to be nearly black or really black if it's fully in here, but most of the black should have some detail in it. We can see that her hair is getting some sparkle because of the oils in it and the reflection. No hair light needed yet, but that gives us a baseline of where we can start. Now we can adjust our light to do work even better for our situation. Because I'm in Capture One, it will automatically transfer over any of those changes to my next images if I want it to, which I do. I want it to. All right, so let's add a little bit of extra flavor to this. Let's take this beauty dish, because you know everybody uses a beauty dish as their key light. So in 2023, we're gonna use beauty dishes as hair lights.
Switching it up.
All right. Sorry about that. All right. This is in my B group. I've got a grid on it, so I have to be careful. Remember, usually if you're setting up a hair light, you're going to want to really feather it off, but because I have a grid, that's going to be not as good. So I'm going to come in a little bit. I'm leaving the grid on there because I want a little control. And plus it's a pain to put it on and off. And you know, mostly lazy. This is in my B group. Both of them are active. Let's just see what no, actually I'm not going to do that. If I take a shot now with TTL, this light will change. So you can do two things. You can, which is what I'm about to do. I'm going to look at this light. 8.2. I'm going to remember that. You'll be tested on that later. All right, now I'm going to come in here on TTL. Okay, yeah, actually, that's pretty good. Okay, so, wow. They do a pretty good job with that TTL. But you know, it's always when you doubt it. So this went up to 8.3. We're just going to go back and dial it back to 8.2. The hair light looks pretty good. It's subtle. If we want to go full on like movie, Hollywood type hair light, we're going to want to give it a little extra boost. This is in my B group, so I'm going to press the B, I'm going to dial this little thing. I'm guessing Seth didn't show me how to do this, but I can figure it out. Yep, there it is. You just told me how to turn it on. All right, I turned it up half a stop. So let's see if I did it right. I like this controller. Cliff, if you're watching, send me a controller. All right, now we're getting a little bit of kick over here. We're getting sparkle on her shoulder. This is coming around, and we're getting, again, look at the skin. It's really beautiful and tight. Pop, right? That's what we're going for here. Instead of going for that general, we want a big open, 5-foot Octa, big soft light. We want something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit punchier when we're doing black and white. That will give us shape and form. And I will drink water. By the way, this is the Adorama Pro imaging mug. Mm-hmm. Very few of those exist in the world. Do you have one of those?
No, I don't. Are you staying TTL all the time?
What's that? Yeah, I think I'll use TTL the whole time unless somebody wants me not to. I'm very open. Okay, so because I started that way and I kind of showed you how we do that, I'm going to now switch over and just completely change what I just said because that's how I do it. And we're going to use the big light again, but we're going to manipulate it a little bit differently to take what we learned here to make something a little bit more functional. So instead of taking this to be a big flat light, we're going to make this a punchier light. And the way we're going to do that is by this position. Move everything out of the way. I'm kind of circling around here. I'm doing a lot of circling today. Okay. How am I doing, Seth? Am I gonna fall over? Let's hope not. All right, so I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, I'm going to, make sure you don't drop the light on cadence. But if you're going to drop a light on somebody, you got to drop. Yeah, you got to drop this one. All right, so we're going to bring this in like this. Okay, if you could come in a little closer, yeah, perfect. Perfect. Cool. I think for our point of view, this is going to work perfectly. Okay, then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to bring this guy in. And this is, it comes down to positioning here. We take this, put it right next to the camera. Our C group. Let's take B, turn it off, A, turn it off. I'm assuming that's a test button.
Yeah, I think it's a firmware one with the old B10.
Ah, okay. Hold on, I pressed something. Where's the test button?
On the side.
Oh, this is the test button? Okay. Did they all fire? Yep, okay, so they're not turning anything off. All right, so we'll do this manually because I did not upgrade my firmware and my lights to work with the supersonic controller.
Or you could try the old controller.
No, I'm not going to use the old controller after using the new one. That's why, if you have a car, right, and you go to get it repaired, and the dealership always gives you a better car than you have, right, as a loaner, right? That's what they do because they know that once you drive that better car, you're not going to want your car anymore. So that's what Seth did here. He gave me the better controller, and now I'm stuck. Yeah. He's going to update the firmware while talking. All right, so let's put this more in the center, and let's see if we can get a little bit more of a. Oh.
I just fired.
You fired? Oh. Okay.
It's fancy.
All right. Should I do it again? That one you fired?
Yeah, I'm just going to turn this off first.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
All right, we're upgrading firmware. Grab a drink.
We should go.
Okay, we're good. You can do it all with your phone now, just like the kids. What you have to do is you have to go onto TikTok. So here we're going for this punchy, because I got asked the last time about these really kind of flat, punchy, black and white shots that were really popular in the 90s. So we're just getting into it. I'm just getting into it right now. So this is using a softer light, right? But we're getting that bit of contrast because we're actually putting the light real close. And if you notice, I'm only really getting this part of the light. So we're getting almost like a strip of light coming across. But because of its position, the shadow under her chin is really small, so we don't have a lot of contrast there. I could add more contrast by bringing the light up if I want and tilting it forward. So I'll show you how to do that. So what this is going to do is control the angle of the shadow under her chin. Right? This is our chin shadow light. Right? And we can see now how it's dropped more. Now it's a little bit more naturalistic, you see? So depending on what you want, you can bring this up and down and get a lot of different angles with this light, if you want that kind of flatter light. But I like where it was. And what I'm going to do is, we're going to get the background bright. I'm flying. I feel like I'm flying today. I think I had a little bit of candy before we started. A little sugar rush, yeah.
Little sugar rush.
Little sugar rush. We got this. We're good. All right, so I'm taking my B10. I'm just going to point it at the background. This one's in the B group. I'm just going to turn it all the ways up. We'll switch everything over to manual so nothing changes. Turn the B group on. Good, it worked. All right, here we go. Boom. Okay. Oh, interesting. A little hotter than I thought, but that's all right. Very nice. And we can see how we're pushing this right at the edge of exposure. And if you want more, oh, you know what we could do? I know this is an advanced technique, not often taught in the schools here anymore, ever since that incident in 1974 where that photo student, I'm just making something up right now. Seth's not paying attention. All right. We're going to go. Good. We're getting a black card just to kind of kick back some of the. There we go. Okay, so what I did there, see the difference? The floor was kicking back a lot of light under her chin, filling in. This black card helps us block that out, right? We're basically blocking the light. It's not really true negative fill. It's more like you're blocking the fill, basically. That makes sense? Questions, thoughts, concerns?
All right, this one is
The firmware is updated. Fantastic. Okay.
one light.
On one light. Well, at least we have one light updated. This one we're not going to be able to update because it doesn't have Bluetooth. All right, cool. So we did that really quick. Let me tell you a story. No, okay. Oh, we got time for extra. All right, so since that worked out, so we can see that we can use the big light to create, let's just go back through this.
The lights that have changed, you're shooting a male model.
Does the light change if I was shooting Irwin?
Irwin's in his zone. We don't even know he's here.
Irwin, would you like to be a model for a second? Yeah, of course we're live. Well, it's interesting that you should ask. Was that Irwin in the chat room asking about the male model? Welcome, Irwin. This is Irwin, the, what do we call you? The Lord of all things social. So Irwin's going to come in, and we're going to make a shot. Because people always ask me the same question. Do you change it if it's a masculine or male model versus female? It kind of depends on what the vibe you're going for. Irwin's kind of friendly. I'm not going to do too good of a job so that he'll still have to pay you for headshots later. Okay. All right, so the light will work on just about anybody. We see now we have this really, well, you're very Steve Jobs there. He's a little hot, yeah. I was in manual, so I think yeah, dropped me down like, what, 3/4 of a stop?
No, the thing is that
Oh.
it doesn't talk in MacBook.
Oh, it's not talking. Aha.
Talking because the firmware is
Old.
4 generations old. Do you want? We could swap out for this light if you want.
No, I'm just going to go like this. Boop, boop, boop. There we go.
It's gonna override from the remote.
It is?
Yeah, probably.
Nah. There we go. All right. So it can work, right? Super clean. This is like if we're doing an Apple ad. At Apple, if you want to hire me. We're doing something real clean here. Now, no, you don't need to change the light depending on the subject. It really just depends on the light you're going for. Light should be about emotion and feel, not necessarily about the person, you know, the gender or whatever the subject in front of you. So if you want a clean, pretty light on a clean, pretty guy, here we go. Thank you, Irwin. All right. There we go. Gotcha. You can see videos with Irwin. We were just talking about that from years ago on Adorama. All right, perfect. Seth, you want to? Seth will never get in front of my camera.
I got in front of your camera for 4x5 6 years ago, and
That's
you never
true.
did anything with that film.
It's true. The film was sitting in my basement. All right, so, all right, that's clean. We did two. I really like that, actually. That's a good shot. Well done, Erwin. All right, so yeah, no, you don't need to change the lighting depending on your subject. You need to change it depending on the vibe you want to go for. Like if you wanted to shoot somebody in a really tough way, and they, then you would shoot them with more contrasty light. Cool. All right. Let's switch out and do something with the Beauty Dish. Beauty Dish? What do you think? Yeah. Let's do like a good classic punchy light with the Beauty Dish. Show you how the black and white can work. Oh yeah, so Fresnel lenses, yes. The thing is that if I'm shooting black and white, if I'm shooting anything really, I actually really like using constant lights, and I have Fresnel lights. I have dado lights, which are not exactly Fresnel, but kind of better actually. They're really great. They're great for that hard punchy light. Most people don't have them. So usually when I do a demo like this, I try to show you what you can do with stuff that's most common that people have. But Fresnel will give you a nice punchy hard light, and it's probably really great, especially for if you're trying to get that real shape and pop to the light. But what we have is a Beauty Dish, and that's what we'll use. Come back over here. And again, because I'm going kind of...
Actually, use this when we update that one.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Seth.
I just like that we can do this so fast.
I love the best part about like updating firmware and stuff from a cell phone is when that type of technology first exists. Old people like me are always like, "Oh, we don't need that," but then once you use it, you're like, "Oh my God, that's the best thing ever." All right. So this is now updated, so we should be able to shoot with a cleaner TTL. That's off. Let me bust out the. Let's bust out the beauties. I feel like I'm a little all over the place today, but I think it was the sugar. Do not eat Three Musketeers bars before you go live, Daniel. This is the.
Why not?
Well,
You're flying through it. You're doing
I'm frenetic. You know, it's really funny because I've worked with Cadence for many years now, and we will get together and we'll shoot. In like an hour, we'll have like 10 looks done.
Yeah.
But you can't do that on a live stream.
You can't do that unless you have a working relationship.
Yeah, exactly. We're so fast. All right, so we'll be like, oh, we've shot all the outfits. Oh.
What do we do now?
Okay, really quickly, camera lens settings, and then can you capture the clean black and white in a home or small studio with small softbox?
Okay, awesome. So, good question. Settings, we'll do that first in camera. This is the Nikon Z9 with a 24 to 120 lens. The Z9 itself, as I mentioned at the beginning, is available with a free Capture One download from Adorama and free shipping. There's a link.
What you're using right now, they're wondering what that program is over.
Okay, right, and Capture One is what I'm using right now. So if you want to be able to do exactly this, then you'll get Capture One with your Z9 if you purchase one. The 24 to 120 is not the kit lens with it though, right? There's no kit lens that comes with the Z9. You purchase any lens you like. I like this lens a lot. Seth turned me on to it. I basically just copy everything he does. I think we know that by now. So, settings, F8, 200th of a second, 100 ISO. Why? See, I was so pumped up on the Three Musketeers, I forgot to go to the beginning. Because when we are in a studio like this, we want to control our situation. So I have my camera set. Do I care if the background is in focus or not? No. So I'm not going to go shoot wide open so I can get a shallow depth of field to get a white background that has no detail out of focus. By shooting at f8, it gives me sharpness on the lens, it gives me a little bit of depth of field so she moves, and it keeps her whole head in focus. So, or his, if we go to Erwin. So we've got f8, 200th of a second, 100 ISO. That gives us what, basically a black frame. So if we were to turn off all of our lights, can I turn them off from there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's at point one.
Okay. If I turn off all my lights and I make a photo, did it do it? No, there it is, yep. What I get is a black frame. So at this setting, we'll just cut this part and put it at the beginning of the video. No, we won't, okay. At this setting, basically what we're getting here is no exposure except for what we bring into the shot. So if I drag my exposure slider over, we can see that we don't even really start seeing her until almost like about 3 stops in. So we are terribly underexposed when there's no flash, which means that I can leave the lights on in here, I can work her, I don't have to worry about that. The flash is controlling everything. I'm shooting in TTL, which is through the lens metering. So the meter in the camera is telling the flash what to do. These are Profoto flashes with the new air remote. There was another question. Oh, small space. This is actually a pretty small space. We're using wide angle lenses, but yes, you could totally do this. If you want to get good separation against, let's say, a white wall, ideally you're going to want to have, 6, 7 feet behind the model. If you don't have that, there's other ways to do it, but that's what you probably want. So you probably need about 10 feet or so, I would say, to be able to do exactly what we're doing.
Beautiful.
Nice. Thanks, Seth.
Yeah, make sure you cough more in your hand when you touch my hand.
I only do this demo so Seth will set up my equipment for me. Okay, because I don't know how to do it. All right, so we're back to the beauty dish. We're in TTL. No, we're B. Is that B, right?
A.
That's A. That's A.
There you go.
I'm in TTL, I think. Yep, auto. Okay, I'm going to, on the lights on, turn it off. Okay, so let's take a shot with the beauty dish. So now we're back to the beauty dish. This light is going to be punchy and tight, and it's going to get it on our face, so let's just see. Again, we're in TTL. We'll see what kind of exposure it gives us. Are you in like silent shutter or something with this? It's so quiet. What a quiet camera.
I hear that shutter.
It's super quiet.
The speaker's right there.
Yeah. No, it's great. Super, super quiet. Very nice. Okay, so now,
There's no shutter in that camera.
well, there's no shutter in the camera. Oh, yes, you kids and your shutterless cameras. All right, so this is the beauty dish. Going back to the question about the Fresnels, right, and really hard light, when you get into a light that's more controlled, that's a little bit punchier, you can get this really like sculpting light here. So we're moving into this kind of really kind of classic black and white portraiture. Because I made all my settings ahead of time, and because I'm shooting basically the same model, more or less at the same exposure and stuff, I'm not having to change much when I do this. It's carrying it over from the other. Now, if I were to go like this, if I hit Command R, it will reset the image. Also not bad.
You can also do this with a Y.
Was that the compare? Oh yeah, you can Y it. And you can do that, right? It's not.
He's teaching right now.
He is. Seth and the Mighty Mix. Let me just tell you, see how this is set up like this? When I was in high school, I did a lot of this. I'm gonna say it's like half and half color. It's okay. See? It doesn't look bad, right? Either way, but the black and white needs that pop. I mean, in this case, the color also looks decent. Sometimes you'll look at this comparison and it will look bad in color, but if your intention is to shoot black and white, then that's okay. Now, I think we're gonna want some separation. I know somebody's probably asking, why is the background black? Well, the beauty dish is not letting the light get past her. It's really pushing it forward. So this gives us that separation, right? So let's take our other light.
It's exposed for her, not the wall.
Right, it's exposed for her, not the wall. Exactly. This one's done. Thank you, sir.
This is dead off.
It's off though, yep. Perfect, perfect.
There's a request for clamshell setup to see the difference in the dramatic black and white.
Sorry, they want to do clamshell?
Yeah, to see what the difference in dramatic versus like.
Ah, okay, yeah, so there's a question about using clamshell or a request for clamshell. Yeah, we can do a clamshell light. Let me just finish my thought here.
You don't get derailed while you're doing a demo? Come on, man.
I am the king of being derailed, so I'm trying to.
All we do is get derailed.
Derail is basically my life. All right, so I'm going to use TTL on this, so I'm not too worried about it. Now I'm using a softbox back here. So what I'm doing is, if you might notice, I'm not aiming it at the back of her head. You want to feather the light off, because what's going to happen is light comes out of the softbox and spreads. It goes like this. So that's how we want to do a hair light. You will see people say that you should use a bare head or a small grid as a hair light. Those people are wrong. I'm kidding. No, you want to use a soft light for a hair light, ideally, because it's going to then give a nice even strip down the hair. So people often ask why I'm using a softbox for it, that's why. All right, so this light back there is in the B group. I'm gonna turn it on. Oh, it's at +5, I'll turn it down, all right. Again, I'm gonna look at this light, it's at 8.3. The reason why I'm doing that is because if it changes this front light in a way that I don't like it, I can just put it back. All right, here we go. It would be good if the light in the back fired. But it did not. Is it?
You're in channel 17.
Well,
What are you in channel? What channel are you in?
3. We do not want to be in channel 17. Channel 17 was where you used to watch like the reruns of Scooby-Doo when I was a kid.
All right, sorry. Sorry, guys.
All right. There we go. All right. Oh, interesting. So, as an unexpected or completely expected, depending on how we look at it, result, the softbox is kind of spilling out of the back, giving us this kind of almost gradiated painted background.
It's wide open.
Because I got the background, because I have the box open in the back, which I usually do. So that's why it's expected. It's too bright, right? I'm looking at it and it's just too bright anyways. I'm gonna look at this now. This is how you do TTL. You look at it and go, hey TTL, that looks pretty good. Now you could do a couple of things. I could just take the light in the background using TTL still if I wanted to and make an adjustment ratio-wise. But when you're shooting a portrait in a studio and it's kind of fixed, it's just easier to just switch out of TTL once you do that and then take the light that you want to adjust and just bring it down. I think, based on my experience, that I'm going to knock it down to 1.3 stops. There. Okay. So now we're getting that nice separation. The background is grayish. We have some light on her. Not loving that front light now. Let me just see. Come a little closer to it. There we go. Just change something. Yeah, there we go. We were showing too much of her head. We had to, okay. There we go, better. All right, I had to move a little closer to the light because I wanted that angle. And now we're getting this nice separation if you like that. If you don't like it, to be honest, I kind of like the black background now that I'm looking at it. So I'm living with this one. We're going back to there. Just forget that we did the rest of that. It just depends on how you like to do it. Looks pretty good. All right, so clamshell was the question, right? Cool.
Do you use bare for separation sometimes or never? Please elaborate.
Do I use a what?
Do you use bare bulb probably for separation?
Do I use a bare bulb for separation light? Almost never. You don't want to use a hard light for separation because it will put a spot of light on the back of their head. What we want is a wide spread of light. I think it's that one over there. You want this light to spread out so that it covers her hair. If there's a separation, if you hit her with a hard light, it's going to hit that one spot. That's why we don't want to do that. Okay. Clamshell.
Clamshell. Can I quick change?
Yeah. What's that? You're going to change?
Quick change, yeah.
Yeah. Cadence is changing.
Comes out as a butterfly.
She's changing. All right, we're gonna, yeah, let's do this in, you know what? Because I often get a question, people often ask me, they say, Daniel, you know, because that's my name, but I don't have all that stuff. So instead of making a real complex clamshell, I'm gonna do the most classic or basic clamshell, which is just using a reflector. So I'm gonna take my little tiny softbox here. This is a Shimura extra small, or is this one just an extra small? I'm gonna boom it out. Since she's not right here, I'm gonna put a sandbag on it before she gets back.
So someone's asking, what if you don't do post-editing?
What do I do in post-editing?
What if you don't do post-editing?
What if I don't do post-editing? I'm not sure I'm following the question. You don't need to edit these images. They're basically perfect.
No, they're saying to get black and white if you're not going to do it like this.
Oh, if you're not gonna, so how do you get black and white if you're not gonna do it like this? Well, I mean, there's black and white settings in your camera, and most cameras these days will allow you to adjust them, so you can use your standard black and white setting, and then you can make adjustments to them to your taste. I find that is not the best way to do it. So, I mean, you can certainly do it that way. This is gonna give you more control, right? Am I not answering the question correctly?
Well, the problem is that you're not going to be working with a raw file at that point.
Right, and you're also not working with a raw file. That's also true.
You're losing a ton of data.
Yeah. So if you don't have the ability, like you have to hand it to somebody right away and you're shooting a JPEG, then there are, nice. There are settings in most cameras. And it really wouldn't make sense to go through them in this camera because unless you have this camera, it's not gonna matter. What you wanna do is just look at the settings that are in your camera. Usually they'll say something like, you know, black and white with red filter or something like that. And you'll set that, and then usually there's a place you can adjust it. And I would just do some tests, you know, get a few people that are willing to sit for a few minutes, make a few images, making some adjustments as you go. Ideally, take those to your computer, look at them, make some notes, figure out what you like, and then make some settings for your camera. That's what I would do. But the best case scenario is you want to do it in like Capture One or in Lightroom or anything like that.
Someone's requesting the north. Can you revisit the north light?
I could.
But let's get through a setup.
Okay. All right, so this light is coming down here. This is the top of the clam. And basically when you're clamshell lighting somebody, you're setting it up so that there's a light more or less overhead to the front. The height of the light and the angle of the light is going to control your contrast. Okay? So let's get the first light set up first. We'll go here. I get him in TTL. I think some other light might have gone off as well, but it probably didn't make a difference. Let me just turn off the light that's over there. Yeah, that's the A light, right?
What, this?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just turn it down.
Hold it.
Good. Okay. So A's down. All right. So, all right. Let's do this. So I'm in manual. So let me go to TTL. And so you've got a situation here. If we shoot it just like this, the light's very, very kind of top lit, right? You got a couple options. She could raise her chin, right, which will help. Get some light in her eyes, right? Boom. Or you can do what's called a clamshell, which is basically to bring a secondary light underneath. In this case, we're going to use, let's make it glamorous. You know what that means? Silver. We got the silver reflector. This is
The newest version with the firm update.
This is the newest version. This is the Brooklyn reflector. You can order these online at brooklynreflector.org. What is it? Org. Don't know if that was close enough to make a difference. Nope. All right. Yeah, did. Cool. All right. And Cadence likes it. So what we get here is, even with the chin down, we've got kick that's bringing the light into her eyes. She's looking all good, and there you go.
You're also pushing the highlights, right?
Yeah, we're pushing the highlights because that's how we roll. Now, if this is a bit bright for you, as it could be, because remember, we're specular, you can come in and just lower your exposure slightly, which I might do. I feel it's a tiny bit hot. Go a third of a stop down. Silver can be tricky, so you want to be careful with it. Where white you want to really bring it super close, silver you got to think about it. Yeah, that's a little better. There we go. And now we've got, again, you got this, your eyes brightened up because of the reflector. You've got some nice shadow. Now you can see the shadow under her nose. You can control the length of the shadow basically, well, by her chin, but also by the angle of the light. So let's say this was too much for you and you wanted a lower shadow. What we can actually do is bring this light lower, right? And by bringing the light lower, the shadow itself will be lower. I mean, and you can also tilt the light up. But remember, when you're doing this, you have to make sure the reflector is actually hitting the light. Or the light is actually hitting the reflector. So if we turn the monolight on, we can see, yep, it is. Boom. Yeah, and there you go. Now we have lowered that shadow to be a little bit more of a classic butterfly. Her eyes have that nice reflector in it. And we have the shadow filled in under her chin, and that's basically your clamshell with one light. Yes, I know, thank you. Oh. I can tell there, no, and obviously you can do it with another light, right? You could put a softbox, something underneath it and fill in like that as well. It really depends on what you're trying to do. Generally speaking, you want, I believe, you want your underneath light to be larger than your top light. Top light gives shape, so you want it to be smaller, harder. Underneath light is a fill light, so you want it to be a little bit larger, so it fills in and softer. Cool. What was the other question? Oh, north light. So north light is basically like reflected light. So north light is basically how Avedon. You heard of Avedon, right? Richard Avedon? No? Yeah. So what north light is basically, so where south light is the sun pouring through the windows, north light is the sky itself lighting the shot. So it's usually kind of a flatter light. So the best way to do that is basically just to bounce the light. So, I don't know, bounce off that, I guess. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Bounce off the ceiling and go to the string.
Could do that. I was just going to bounce off the scrim itself, but we could do I think off the ceiling it'd be too high. Yeah, or we could do a reflector.
You want to pitch this?
Yeah, exactly. Like kind of like. So what we do here is instead of pointing the light at cadence, oops, wrong button. We basically leave the light in the same spot. It's going to lose a lot of light. So this may not actually be powerful enough. Yeah, we might have to adjust a little bit. This is only 250. So we're going to take this guy, and we're basically going to turn it this way, right? So we're going to bounce it into ideally that would be a reflector and not a silk, but.
I mean, we can clamp a board to it.
Yeah.
If you want him. I don't think it's going to help much, but.
Yeah. I was going to turn this up all the way.
Am I stuck on the sprinkler?
I think you are. Yeah. I think it'll be good like that. That seems. Boy, it is going to eat a lot of light, but that's okay. That's okay. For you, we do these things. Because we are all about customer satisfaction here at Adorama TV. Thanks, Seth. Yeah. See, the best part about that is if I had been doing that, as soon as I let go, it would have been like flop. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, let me go higher.
Yeah.
I can't get stuck on the sprinkler.
All right, so I've now turned this up all the way. I'm switching to, oh, okay, I'm in manual. It's funny, it says, okay, let's do this. Cool, all right, I'm just turning it up all the way. And, all right, this is for all the money. No, not bad. Look at that. It's a tiny bit dark. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hair dark. I would probably, normally what I do is I usually put something in here, like something silver.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is like, we got to clamp it.
Yeah. Maybe just hold it, just for one shot. Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to mix it. Okay, here we go. There we go, perfect. So what we did was we basically have it bouncing off a large white source, right? And then that little bit of silver in the middle gives you that sparkle, and that kind of gives you that flat light that you get. And then with this, of course, let me go back here. Now we're gonna have to readjust, because with this light, we're gonna have to give it a lot more contrast. So let's jump back into our black and white conversion. And we're gonna really push our reds, yellows down. It's warm in here, right? This is the warmest studio in the face of the earth.
It's because the Brady is wrong whether you want to be on or not.
That's right.
It's like my fur.
Like, this is awful. This giant pipe.
It's almost, it's almost as hot as my apartment I had in Queens. Oh my, that apartment was so hot. I used to run the air conditioner in the winter.
Oh my god.
It was crazy.
I do have my window open with a fan running because like it's way too hot. And I have it turned all the way off. It's just the pipes.
And it's like, bang.
All right, so we definitely want to give it that little bit of extra punch, and you get nice clean skin. So it's, north light can be really good if you're shooting somebody that's really flat, or something that's really flat. You really want to work this if you want to get a lot of texture and detail into it. You probably want to use curves. I'm sure it wouldn't be so exciting to watch me mess with this, but basically you're in here and you want to get. I think actually, can we do one more? I think I want to use the black card too.
Below.
Yeah. There's just so much light bouncing around here. This is both the best and the worst part about having a white studio. Yeah, there we go. Okay. We want to bring that jawline back because there's just so much bouncing around. If you were doing this outside like Avedon did, and you were taping the paper against the side of a barn, there's basically just ground in front of you, then it would be fine. But in this white studio, you're getting like super bounce. So this is like the flattest, cleanest light. I get questions all the time about how you shoot people that maybe have skin imperfections or they're older and they don't want to see a lot of detail, like wrinkles and stuff, like me. This is a good light for that.
That's crazy.
What do you think? Sharp? And of course, you could blow the background out if you want, by throwing another light back there. But I think we're good with this. Nice and simple, nice and easy. North light, as we call it. South light would be the hard contrast. Imagine the sun, right, being more contrasty. So that's probably even more like this one here. Right, like hard light, smooth. You got something in the middle here. We got Irwin looking all nice. I'm telling you, that's your cover for Time Magazine, Erwin.
Actually, I want to see Erwin in this light.
Yeah, let's do it.
Get in.
Erwin, come in, be a model again.
You're gonna hold the black card,
Sure.
and I'll hold the silver.
Okay.
Give him the black.
Oh, he's gonna hold it?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Hold the black card.
Okay.
What we're gonna do.
Come a little closer. Come a little bit closer. Right there. Good. Good.
And work it.
Work it.
Work it. Work it.
Also nice.
Boy, that gray edge goes right to the light.
Yeah. It really adds. Let's see if we can get.
Let's do the dark background with him and push the white hair.
Let's go back to the first light, not the north light.
Just single, just for the beauty dish.
The beauty dish. Okay, yeah, let's do it. All right, so we're gonna. Thank you, sir. So. Oh, all right.
What do you want to do?
I was just gonna move that light over, but
I'm
okay.
just gonna spin this around.
Okay, good. Yeah.
You want to break that? Or you want to keep it?
Let's leave it for now.
Where you going? Where you going? Come on.
No, we gotta make you beautiful. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
You want a grid or not?
Oh yeah, definitely a grid.
On now.
I mean, look at
Where do
him.
you want to go?
The moodiest.
Well, it has to fit you, right?
Right.
I don't know what you want to do.
I love that it's half in the shot. That's the best way to do it.
No, don't.
No, I won't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Get
All right. Let's make it. We have to make a serious picture because
you
people are watching.
This guy now.
This is it. He's looking at it. He's like, okay. So we're gonna center this on his face. We're using the beauty dish. It's got a grid. I don't know why I just picked my glasses up like I was gonna.
Oh, you had it on current. You didn't do DTL.
Perfect. That's like a solarization. I got all excited there. Hold on, let's try something. What do you think?
No, just take the shot.
Oh, I was going to do like a highlight recovery. There you go. Boom. This is the great thing about modern cameras.
Wait, well, now the next shot's going to be dark.
It will be. I'll fix it though. The beauty dish is actually a tiny bit low, I think. So when you're using a beauty dish, you want to make sure that the kind of the center of the light is like right here. It's right now. It's right on his nose. It's got to come up like an inch.
I don't think it should be symmetrical. I think we should kind of cut him up.
Oh, okay. You don't want him to have a beauty shot?
Well, it makes his face better, you know?
I like his face. I like your face, Erwin. I'm not trying to change you. It's all about Seth trying to change people. I'm kidding. Look off like this, like you're powerful. Yeah, there you go. What? You can't look like it's powerful? Oh, nice.
So hopeful.
I actually like how it's a little bit dark too, for some reason.
One day I'll adopt a cat. He's like,
Let's just give it like almost half a stop. We're in TTL, all right? Okay. All right, so I'm in TTL. I looked in Capture One, and I saw that it was, when I adjusted it, we're about 0.44 under. So I'm just going to add that to my exposure. Yeah, nice. But you want to be contrast, right?
give him some shape to that.
All right.
line.
All right, let's,
We're getting into it now. He's like, I better fix all this stuff.
Yeah,
He's like, what a free
no
shot.
warning.
Was that thunder?
I think it was thunder. All right, yeah, there we go. Perfect.
No, that's no.
Damn it.
Oh, hold on. Oh, because I increased the exposure. Let's see, let's go back. Yeah, let's, can you kill the overheads? Yeah, I just want to see where it's falling. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh wow. Yeah, this is almost too good. You're like a mad scientist.
So, Erwin, put your chin slightly low and turn a little bit down.
Oh, he wants to make you hardcore. Oh, even more mad scientist. Oh yeah, nice. Let's get a little fill, I think. No? You want to cut out his jaw on the other side? Yeah.
I think you're going to get it with the grip, but yeah.
No, maybe a silver.
Like this look.
Yeah, let's see. I was actually thinking another light, but that might work. Oh yeah, that's good.
Just break it a little bit.
Just break it a tiny bit. Because in a lot of ways, you're better off having this, guys, and then coming in and just like bringing the darks darker. That way you know the detail's there.
You look like an out-of-work author.
Yeah, it does, right? This is your author portrait. All right, let's get even more hardcore. So we're gonna come even more to the side. Oh.
Okay. And then you want to go like this from the back, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're doing almost like a.
I don't know
Yeah.
how wide you are.
No, that's good. You're not doing this. Oh, yeah.
Wow, that didn't even hit.
No, I think we're gonna need silver to get anything back from that. Right there, I can see it. Right there. It's in the shot though.
Yeah, I know. The grid's not letting me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that
Ooh,
grid is easy.
just barely that. But I also have, I'm crunching my darks here, so let me kind of bring it back.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. You look a little sinister, but in a good way.
That white is a little over.
His hair, you mean?
No, all that white is over.
You think?
Yeah.
No, 244. I'll bring it back.
Yeah, it's only 6 points off. Actually, not 6 points, but 9 points. Only
Yes, I like to push the edge of it. Look, we can see the little wrinkles in his forehead.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at that Z9. Nice.
I can see all your hopes and dreams.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Look at that. Look at that. See that?
Wow.
See yourself a Sunday.
There you go. That's a beautiful shot. Okay, so that's a little bit more contrasty. What? Sorry. What? Sorry. Well, I figure nobody's looking at anybody. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
How about when you're doing older people?
When I'm doing older people. There you go. No, not that one. North light.
When I'm doing older people, it pulls up a picture of Erwin.
No, the north light is good because when you say older, I'm assuming you mean you want to cover up any wrinkles from old age, like I have. North light will do that. This real soft, big, open, flat light.
There is
Right.
what about 2 models in a shot?
2 miles in the shot, not with the beauty dish. You wouldn't do that.
You want to do that together and call it?
Yeah, we can do that, but we're gonna have to change the light. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's let them eat separately. One with the beauty dish, one with the.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll use a softbox on one, beauty dish on the other.
You want to do a softbox on her and a
Yep.
beauty dish on him?
I do.
All right.
He is beautiful.
Get in
All
there.
right.
All models on mark.
Okay, we go. All right, so we're gonna do something a little different. Normally, if you're shooting a group, what I would recommend is that you use like a big wide light that kind of covers the group. But we're rebels here. Oh, you know what we could do?
What?
You want to light him all dramatic and I'll light her, look like a beauty light?
That's what we were doing.
Yep, perfect. Yes, me too.
Were we not?
Exactly.
No, that's exactly what we're doing.
Where do
Yeah.
you think a gridded beauty dish next to a softbox gives you anywhere not 2 different looks?
Well, no, you could put them both in the center and do 2 beauty lights.
I was thinking split.
Okay, you do one and I'll do the other.
Yeah.
We got it? I'm down.
I think we're gonna have to step you guys. You come here, and then put your shoulders not so much. Chin down a little bit. Look right here.
Okay, yep, you're good.
Is your model on there?
No. There it is. All right.
Ooh.
So the goal here is.
She's so light in complexion. She's actually a reflector for you. She's actually,
I bounce light. It's true.
I just glow.
I mean, I don't have a grid for this one, unfortunately.
Naturally, my glow in the dark.
Unfortunately, I don't have a grid for this one, so it's going to be a little spill on him, I think.
Well, you're also gonna have uneven background like crazy.
Good. What's that? It's going to be on the background, do you think?
No, I mean, it's flying over her and bouncing on the floor. This is staying local to him, so it's gonna be like a weird background.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fine, man.
Well, yeah, I
You
don't
guys
have a
have to
grid.
get a little closer though, honestly.
I don't have a grid, so I'm not going to be able to control this light more than we got. Yeah, that should be good. I don't have them both in the shot at this point, though.
Not even in the frame.
It's okay. Okay. He's working it.
Do you want to start push this up?
Up? No, no.
You're going down.
I don't think so.
You tell me. I don't know where you are.
I don't know. I don't know. I usually just put the lights up and then just hope for the best. Luckily with these cameras, they're quite expensive and they do a pretty good job. All right, so this is just a test shot. Do not judge me on this, unless it's good. Oh yeah, do not judge me on this.
Attaboy.
Yeah, there's way too much light in the
There
background.
you go. What did I just say with the back?
Also, it's way too bright. All right, let's reset everything. All right. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think this softbox is just going to be super. It's going to be super close if we're not. Let's do this because we really don't have
Hold on, I'm going to turn on the light.
control. Yeah,
Nothing
please.
going live right now.
Yeah, that's true. We're doing. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a grid. This is where grids are useful. All right, I'm just going to do. We just see something. I just want to see how that angle is. That's a little better. Okay. Okay. All right. Not terrible. It's getting better.
Yeah, that box is spilling over a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting on him, which is why this needs to be much more hardcore. All right, so let's do one light at a time. So if you're in a situation like this and it's kind of unclear as to what's going on, take one light at a time. So I'm going to just do the beauty dish to see what it looks like. We want to create like a, come in this way, everyone. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Okay, let me move this over to your eye. Okay, we'll do it that way. Sorry, I know you blinked, but that's okay. Okay, a little too far back. Actually, you could probably just cheat your face this way slightly. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, you think you look beautiful. Wow, I can't believe how much of that beauty is just getting on her too. We can probably.
What? Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Although
Wait, that-
I got to be honest, that's not terrible.
It's not terrible. That's a from a gridded beauty dish to reach like that? All right.
It's also because I'm so white.
No.
I just blame that on
Well, also the way that we can avoid this is you can come forward. Yeah, because then you won't be in the light so much and come this way. Then let me just check. That should keep you out of that a little better. Okay, good. That's actually not bad.
You can actually use that as the fill for her.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going to do. Now this one, I'm just going to come in, and I'm going to turn it down like just a tiny bit. I'll turn it on rather tiny bit. So this is actually at, I don't know where it's at.
Do you want me to flag that light or do you want to keep it?
No, I think it's good. I'm going to turn off B, which is a beauty dish. And then I'm just going to shoot come in just a little bit with your face this way. I'm going to now just shoot the softbox. Okay.
Yeah, that background just.
Okay. Yeah, we need a black. We need to like hold duve back there or something.
Well,
Or a black card or something.
take another shot really quick. Whoa, this is a floppy.
Yeah, it's definitely a floppy.
Now it's hitting the floor.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. Well, let me see with both lights on. So let me just see. All right, so we're turning on both lights now.
Wait, let me just see if we're even showing the tether. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Trying to figure. Okay, I'm turning. Okay, there's no TTL on. Come in a little bit this way, kids. Good, right there. All right, this is both lights. Let's see what we get. Oops, sorry guys. Yeah, I don't like the background's bright.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And you have a grid for this
So,
box,
yeah,
right?
nah, we don't.
Do you want to turn this box?
Yeah, you're gonna have to totally. Yep, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have to like.
Oh, you got that fancy speedering.
Oh yeah, we got to feather it way off, I think. Yeah. Is the model on it? Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Wow, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it's amazing how much that
It's
spills.
hitting the floor like crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I have a small grid, but that's not gonna look good.
Do just this.
Just softbox?
Nah, do them both. Forget it. Just go.
Let's see what we get. Yeah, I think the problem we're gonna have here, guys, is we're not gonna be able to get the background as dark as we'd like.
He's like, yes, I finally got a girl. I finally got a girl.
To be honest, I actually think we can let them both to the beauty dish. Let's just readjust.
You also aren't shooting in black and white. Okay.
No, I'm about to though. Okay.
He's about to.
No, we're about to. Here we go. We figured it out. All right, so come a little bit, exactly, and then just slightly this way. Like you guys are like tough and powerful. Which light? That's B. That's A, right?
We could also just forget about that box and just work the beauty dish.
That's what I'm doing. Okay. I don't hate this. If we come over here,
I think we have to go symmetrical almost.
yeah, this is actually kind of cool. I think now what I'd love to have now is if we take that softbox and just give like a hair light separation over here, no? Maybe it'll actually hit him a little bit too. So what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna move the softbox actually as a separation light. It's amazing how that beauty just is ripping across and they're actually both more or less lit up.
Wow, this thing is flying all over the place. Oh, you need to take them.
Yeah. So we're just gonna do a little bit of separation light. Yeah. Cool. So, and then let's see, just what's that set at?
It's on standby, can you turn it on?
Okay, yeah.
So it's at 8.3.
Maybe turn it down to like 5 or something. We just want a little
Do it
kick.
from you. Do it from yours.
Okay, turning it down. All right, I'm in manual, guys. I'm just turning that down. I just want a little bit of a separation. Come in a little bit this way. Good, here we go. You okay? We can see it coming in a little bit. We just want a little bit more. We're getting there.
All right,
Wait,
Hollywood drama.
Yeah, here we go. This is the one.
I feel like
Come.
you need a stack of money.
We all need a sack of money.
This is our new HBO show.
There we go. Actually, you know what? Little,
Go back.
yeah, exactly. It's a tiny bit of fill on her, and we got this.
Tell me, Dan. I can't
This
see.
is it. Is there a model light on the thing?
It's on.
Okay, I can't really
It's
see.
eating a ton of light.
But let's just see.
Yo.
Ooh, that's not bad. I'm going to say not bad, which means good. When I say not bad, I mean good.
We're trying to get a dark background and an all white box. I think
Yeah.
we're all right.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a little quick tweak here, and then we'll do one more.
I will make you famous. He's like, yes.
So right now, guys, I'm just tweaking the levels and stuff to get it with the proper contrast, and we'll take one more and we'll have it. This is the shot. This is a single beauty dish lighting both of them, a fill card on one side, and then we've got, here we go, and then we have the softbox as a separation light. Yeah, there we go. That's all she wrote.
We're famous.
That's it. Look for them next. Oh, is it in focus?
Got that glint.
Oh, okay. My baseline here is if it's in focus, I'm good.
I think her posture could be better, but that's better.
Thank you.
Well, she could be, but we'll put Erwin on a box, I think.
What?
You'd have to be on a box. Or you could just be taller than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be tall.
No, I'm, you know,
Why you gotta do it?
like I'm like that. I'm like an old man. I can't have a. No,
Because now it looks weird.
no, it looks weird.
Because I have a really small, weird face.
Yeah.
So
I make more money.
Yeah.
it looks strange.
No, that definitely is better. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
prefer like that.
I think we're good.
Not bad posture.
For some reason, the bad posture works.
Some weird tall child behind him.
So there you go. So normally when you're doing a group shot, you're going to want to use a big flat light, right, to get everybody lit evenly. But you can do dramatic stuff as well. This is just a beauty dish, and we're using that same style of light. And that's really what this is about. It's using contrast, shadow to create a vibe based on what you're looking for. Whether we have one person in the shot, two people in the shot, whichever gender, you can make it work based on what you're going for as far as the feel. Okay, don't forget Z9, you get free Capture One on Adorama and free shipping. Seth put a link in the chat area. You can check out Cadence Frank. I'm Daniel Norton, last ex-witness. I don't know, that's Erwin. You check out Erwin. If you just type Erwin in the internet, he'll come up in the internet, so that's gonna give me a hard time about that. But thanks so much. Erwin was around in the early days, even though he was just a young man. And we're glad to have him back. Anything else? Subscribe.
There you go. And your own channel.
My own channel is Daniel Norton Photographer. Ring the bell. Do all that goodness. Next week, is Gavin going to be here? Probably.
How about next week?
They're trying to do stuff every Thursday, so always be on the lookout. I'll be back in 2 weeks.